But there's one element that is absolutely required well, no, it's even required to establish. Especially if I want to establish it throughout the day, I still have to be able to redirect. And so there is a point in this practice. At the beginning, it can be a little bit relaxed when we talk about redirect, right? Because we just want to redirect back to one of our points of attention. That's easy, right? Like I'm on the train and, oh, okay, yeah, well, I'm not really paying attention to anything purposefully. My mind is wandering and I'm thinking about bullshit. So why don't I have headphones on and music playing in my ear? Well, why don't I just go ahead and pay attention to that? Like specifically put my attention on the music and just focus on that. Well, but then my mind starts to think about, oh, no, 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 wait. Like I kind of want to just listen to the music rather than have my mind drift a million different directions and just scatter without my permission. And so what we're talking about is redirecting back to the practice when the mind starts to wander away from it. So we have to come back. In classical psychology, we could look at this as, I like to use the word redirection, but so the idea is that this redirection or this ability to come back to the practice when you start to drift is absolutely essential if we expect to elongate or maintain our practice or maintain our points of attention. Otherwise, we'll just forget. I'll wake up in the morning and I'll say, all right, today I'm going to be outside a lot. So I'm going to do my best to keep a little bit of the sky in my awareness. I'm going to actively pay attention to a little bit of the sky while I do everything else. Why? Because it makes me present. It helps me focus. It helps me concentrate. I feel more self-awareness. I know where my body is and my mind and my breath and my attention as it occurs. It feels really powerful when you're hyper aware of your own physicality and mental state and emotional state. Even when it's not flattering, it is what it is, right? But it's still better to be aware of it than to have your head in the sand and just be completely unaware of your own occurrence, right? Your own actions, your own output. Could you imagine uh, it's hard for me to imagine just to be completely oblivious to those things at this point. That's hard for me to imagine, to not be aware of my own body. Like that's what is that? Like I can't even imagine it at this point. So redirection is, first of all, it's necessary to establish, right? Because if I have a particular point of attention that I have chosen, well, I have to establish my attention on it. So I was using the mouse. I actually wasn't paying attention to it for the last few seconds. I went away from it, but now I redirect and I go back to paying attention to the mouse. I was starting to think of that word that I couldn't think of, and then so my attention diverted away from the mouse. That's okay. It happens sometimes. And then I just bring it back. And now I'm aware of the mouse again. That's redirection.